Alright guys, so here's the review of the Bliger No Time to Die Homage version 2. If you haven't seen the unboxing of this already, I'll leave a link to that up here so you can check that out, and then you'll understand why I'm calling this a version 2. But if you have seen that, you're probably going to notice straight away I've actually changed the strap out on this. So here's the original one it actually comes on, and you can probably notice straight away what the issue is. So those keepers are too big. They don't really do the job. So when you're wearing the watch, it tends to slide down, and then this sometimes even comes out, so you end up with it partly undone, which obviously is not ideal. But I kind of suspected this was going to be a bit rubbish, to be honest, which is why I ordered the other one at the same time as the watch. But if you do want to pick one of these up, that's just something to be aware of. But I'll leave a link down in the description for this bracelet. So now that's out of the way, let's get down to the actual watch itself. So I suppose I should probably start with this bracelet, seeing as I've already mentioned it. So as you can see, it's just your standard Milanese style, nothing too fancy, just a hook one, and then that hooks on there, and then obviously clips over. But as you can see, you've got plenty of adjustment on there, so you easily be able to get a nice fit. And I think it just suits the watch better, to be honest. It's more in keeping with the original kind of one. Just get a quick look at that sterile case back. Nothing too fancy. Oh, actually, something I forgot to mention. With these, you have actually got quick release, which is also an added bonus, which you don't have on the other one. So again, another reason to pick this up. So flicking back around to the front, if I get a zoom in on that dial, just give it a quick wipe. That's better. So, as you can see, we've got applied indices, nicely done, nice and crisp, no issues there. And then the branding is just printed, so you've got the Bliger at the top below the 12, and then the automatic at the bottom with that arrow, and then the date window at the 3. So, oh, actually forgot to mention as well, you can actually get this with the branding on the dial, or you can get a, well, not sterile, but non-branded, because it'll still have the automatic and the arrow at the bottom, if that's more to your taste and you don't like the Bliger. As well as that, you can also get different movement options as well. So I've actually got the NH35 in this one, but you can get it with a Mingzhu 2813 as well, or a Miyota 8215. Strangely though, the Miyota is actually more expensive than the NH35. Not really sure why, because obviously if you've got the choice between the three, you're going to go NH35. So a little bit strange there. So now let's take a quick look at this bezel action. So it's not the best, but there's not really any back play, which is good, but it does wiggle forward slightly, quite easily, doesn't really need a lot of force. But other than that, not too bad. And as you can see, it's aligned nicely. I noticed a couple of people mentioned in the unboxing it looked like it was misaligned. I think that's just the way the camera makes it look. The angle is slightly offset because I'm filming with my phone, and the camera's slightly to one side. But anyway, let's go on to the measurements. So we've got a thickness of about 13.8, and that's with that slightly domed crystal. And I say slightly, it is like ever so slightly. And then we've got a diameter of 41mm, lug width of 20, and a lug to lug of just over 47. And obviously with this Milanese strap, you haven't got any protruding links or anything, so that is the actual lug to lug. Oh, forgot to mention as well, obviously no branding on the back. We've got an unsigned crown as well, which tends to be the norm for Bligers, as well as Corsair as well. But other than that, case is nicely done. So we've got brushed edge, a brushed side, sorry, with a polished edge, and then transition into the polished top. It's nicely done. No issues with any of that. Oh, when we have actually got this faux helium escape valve, which they've actually gone to the trouble of making into a crown. A little bit odd, but I guess it gives it some kind of, well, I don't know, you can play about with it if you want maybe, but obviously it's not going to be doing anything because the water resistance on this is only claimed to be 30 metres. Seeing as we're talking about this kind of stuff now, I'll quickly show you this in action as well. So we're going to screw down crown, pull it out once, obviously you can change the date, pull it out again. Because this is the NH35 version, we've got hacking, so the second hand stops, and then obviously we can change the time. And then push it back in, second hand re-engages, and screw it back down. So let's check out now whether we've got sapphire crystal. Using the trusty diamond selector 2. And as you can see, yep, we've got sapphire crystal, which is a nice change considering I bought this from the same store that I got the Corsair that I reviewed recently. And as you know, if you've seen that one, that didn't actually have sapphire, but this one does. So you're not going to worry about that. And then obviously we've got the ceramic bezel as well. So I guess now we should get onto that Lume. So as you can see, it's lighting up a little bit already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And as you can see, we have actually got a Lume pip on this as well. So make sure to charge that up too. And there we go. So I have to admit, I was actually quite shocked when I charged this up the first time. It does shine really brightly, especially initially. Obviously it does fade a bit, so it doesn't stay that level for very long, but when it does fade, it doesn't fade all that much. It stays at this kind of level now for a decent amount of time. As you can see though, on the indices, they're not all that evenly applied. Some are a little bit patchy, some are a little bit brighter than others, but on the whole, given the price of the watch, pretty good. The Lume on that second hand, that little tip, is slightly fading now though, but again, as with all my reviews, it's not quite as bad as the camera's making out, so you can still see it. And like I say, it stays at this kind of level now for a decent amount of time, and as you can see, the hands are slightly brighter than the indices, which is always the best way to have it if one's going to fade before the other. So on the whole, alright Lume, not great, but better than I was expecting given the price. So all that's left to do now is show it you on wrist. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist, and as you can see, with that new Milanese strap, I think it looks a lot better than the original one it comes on. I'll quickly show you that again. So pretty similar kind of style, and like I say, it just doesn't work very well. So I definitely much prefer this. It feels a lot more secure, cleaner look, and I think it just looks a lot better on the watch generally. As for the watch itself, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this. Is it going to be as good as the Velida? Probably not, but it's quite a bit cheaper. If you're still interested in me doing a comparison between the Pagani and this, I'll do that. Just leave it down in the comments, let us know. But other than that, that's it for this one guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.